Welcome to Breaking Bank 11. Thanks for joining me on this journey, everyone that has decided to see how this went. Um, it's basically going according to plan. Exactly. The recent development with the Toyota Tundra case everybody asked me about is they did the same as they did in the other two cases. They just um, the copy of the note was fine. So they, went along with the motion of the attorneys and they dismissed the case and sent it to arbitration based on, the so-called copy of a note, which is, of course, illegal, as, pointed out by the other counsel even. So what's the point of all this? Well, good question. One point was to show that really all debt is collected illegally. I picked, Toyota Tundra, a new vehicle worth, a bunch of money. I don't really care about it, whatever. Yeah, it's a nice truck, but I don't care. I'm not in any way greedy or want things. I just knew that they would come after it hard with me making videos and helping other people. So I use them like like God has the devil here on earth and all his minions to use them to expose God, so to expose the truth. So anyway, the setup happened and it went through four court cases. In the latest two, they just they did the same thing they did in the first two, which was, allow the copy to be used, which is illegal, of course, and send it to arbitration. So I could show you all the paperwork involved with that, but, basically I knew that they were going to do this. So, they could not do anything because I'm making videos, and they're full of pride and greed and, but I knew if I used, like that animosity and like basically goading them, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm right over here, chase me, right? That they would chase me, and they don't like to lose, they're very competitive and all that. So, knowing that, it was easy to expose their fraud. So that was the point of the Toyota Tundra thing, and that was one point, and there are other points too. I mean that's just the main point, though. I mean, to expose that all debt is collected illegally. Okay, all of it by every bank. Okay, every mortgage, every car loan, every student loan, every credit card debt, every one of them is collected illegally. They make the rules and they break them to collect that. That's really the main purpose of what I'm trying, my message with this, reason of choosing debt and picking that to focus on, because it's the most detrimental thing that there is. I mean, yes, not understanding your reality, that we're under a dome on a flat plane. Yes, that's hypercritical information too, is why I tell people. But that controls your view of the world and your purpose here and so on. But to control really every minute of your life and most of the thoughts of your life, that's what money does. Collecting debt illegally on everyone. You got to go to work all day, every day for the rest of your life, and you got to teach your kids that they're supposed to do the same shit. So, and that's all a lie, so that controls everyone's moment for their lifetime. So I really wanted to expose that to people and let you know that, we're considered as slaves, those laws, those courtrooms, they're not there for us. They're not there to serve people or truth or justice or any of those words that they bring up. that thing is set up to keep you working from birth to death. That's what it's set up for. So controlling everything, every aspect of your life. So given that, all your time really is spent on this training school, right? Training to then be in the system and pay this fictitious debt, that's really most of the hours of everyone's life, and it's a fraud, it's a sham, it's a hoax. So our real purpose being here is to be with God, to get back to God. That's our real purpose, and they want to hide that. So they want to say there's not enough food for everyone. They want to say so many, order out of chaos. They create chaos, and they always have the solutions, right? Well, no, everything is solved already. We're in a place for a particular reason. God has this thing. Anyway, so, why expose that, going to small claims, just there's no justice there? Why expose that? Well, because other people had been experiencing that, with Liberty Aid. So it was like, okay, I want to expose that, that the system, and document it, which I have, and then I want to, put in another solution into the package, at the end of this, that it's not for everyone, but they put us all in desperate places on purpose, and there are no solutions provided there. We don't have solutions to foreclosure or they're coming to take your car and you needed to get to work. They're coming to repo that thing, and you got kids. I mean, they put us in difficult, traumatic situations that like not everybody will use this next level of enforcement. Not everyone will. Like small claims is, but this next level of enforcement is going to be tried out by people. I have used it, successfully myself to, achieve my objective. It's set up to use in the Toyota Tundra case, but do I want to use it? I'm considering that position. I have some other things that I'm going to be doing, but I want to let you know that there's a simple, inexpensive solution of enforcement. And that's the kind of work that I do, is simple, inexpensive solutions. So I have never provided credit repair services. I don't provide services. I provide information, and the information is rigorously tested, and documented as tested, so I don't see anyone else doing that in this work on the internet, in this time of information overload. I don't see this level of documentation of the process. So anyway, after silence, because I wanted, Meher Baba says everything important is transferred in silence. So I needed this solution to be transferred to me and then share it with you. So anyway, I am an ordained, Christian minister with Christian Ministries Trust, and we've opened up a publishing website for information, and it's called libertyaid.org. And so it's a reopening of an old website, but it's with a new purpose. And what's going to happen is, not only is this package going to be up there for a fixed price, because this isn't anything about, this is about removing fictitious debt. It's not, of course your credit gets repaired in the process, but that isn't what this is. This is how to enforce the removal of you know a fictitious debt. And that's what this work is about. So, and this work here is just really, this video is just, a little bit of marketing information about, this written document that you can get on Liberty Aid. And I'll be putting out other packages, and I've talked in other videos about trust and how to operate with that, and some other things too. Anyway, we've got an updated Liberty Aid debt removal package, okay? With a second method of enforcement, fully documented, all the instructions, everything. Because people are losing their homes, and they need a real solution, that is going to be absolutely. See, they don't want to go into court. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the proper paperwork, and they got to break a lot of laws to do it. And the only way to overcome this next method, which doesn't go into court, is by them going into court. So them showing in this video how much they don't want to be in court, every motion is to, hey, please don't make us show anything more in court. We don't want to be here and talk about this stuff. Because all these gurus say, oh, you're going to get them in the hot seat and ask them these questions. No, you're not. You're not going to get them there. That's not going to happen. There's no preparing for all the questions in court. They just block it. Because they don't want to go to court. So they make some motion and you don't go to court. So, but this way, this method of enforcement ties up, their assets. It puts a financial burden on them by crippling their credit. And so they're going to want to respond, because it's fine. They want to collect illegal debt, but, you can return the favor on them, except for if someone collects debt illegally on you, well, they owe you the same amount because that's the harm they've done to you, your person, financially. So you can recoup that. It's simple, it's inexpensive, and it doesn't involve you initiating anything in court. And you will hear from them, and they will want to settle in some way. That's going to happen. So, because this is a powerful method of enforcement. Simple, extremely simple, but extremely difficult to overcome, and can be repeated too, easily. So, simply, but for them to overcome it is extremely expensive and time consuming. And you tie up their property in the meantime. So, very simple method that I've employed myself. So, this experience has taught me a lot. It's taught me that, we're all in different places, of knowledge and what we care about. Attorneys have been taught, they've been schooled their whole life. They go to school, they get this fake debt up on them, and they got a wife and a kid, and they can't even make ends meet. I mean, you go look it up on the website, those Ackerman first year attorneys make over $100,000. That's a lot of money. And they need it with their loans and everything. But I mean, you haven't got much of a law degree if you can't get rid of debt. I mean, your law degree, you're still paying on debt. It's illegal. Ackerman fights for the banks and, steals property. That's what they do. They sold their soul to get that paycheck. So, we're not all in the same spot, is what I'm trying to say with that. We're not all in the same spot. So, some of us that have knowledge and have surrendered themselves, to their maker, are then bound, by, like, they're given knowledge, and so we have to share that with people. It's a responsibility. So I'm still here. Um, the other team, they never want to call a truce. They just want to always fight. So if they had called a truce with me, well, I might have left the website down and so on. But this is Mayor Baba's way of telling me people still need this help. They're not gonna not need it. It's just gonna be needed. You know, banks are a prison system. They imprison people. All their time is spent, you know, paying back something that was never lent. So it's all a lie, it's all a joke. And these, people, that have sold their souls to be these banker attorneys, I mean, do you think that we don't see them? Do you think there's not a higher power that's going to unmask them? I mean, that's my role, and that's really everyone's role, is what I'm trying to point out. I don't mind going first. I know that, God protects me. So, and yes, I don't mind going first, okay? But I need y'all to see this path, and what it's shown, and see that, though seemingly desperate, they make it seem like, we're in this desperate place where we have to pay back this money. Things are not as they appear at all. In fact, it's them who owe us money, because they've been stealing everything we own through this banking scam. They're stealing everything. I mean, if you read an old Mayor Baba book, he, during his early times going around in India, in the 1920s, 1930s, and so on, like, their rupee was worth a lot of, could purchase a lot. One rupee was like, wow, that's real money. But if you think back, well, what was like in the 1920s and 1930s in America, right? It's like $1 was a lot of money, like $1. Whoa, that's a lot of money. So, that's when the bankers really got their scam down. And so, people know the rupee's not worth like that, neither is the dollar. So what happened in those, 100 years only, Frexit, that's what I was thinking. Federal Reserve exit, Frexit, it's time for the bankers to not be in our society. So, but until then, we individually, they get like a loaf of bread. They think of us like a loaf of bread, and they just slice off a little part of it every time, Oh, it's just happening to them over there. So we won't protect, we won't help them stay in their home, because that's just happening to them. Oh, I hope it doesn't happen to us. So, you know, so really we've been trained not to help others, through this. It's just like we're trained to feel like, oh, they've done something wrong because they're getting foreclosed on. It's like, no, it's just their turn. It's musical chairs, and, they don't lend the money. I mean, it is a scripted game of musical chairs that, after they pull the music, the clock spins another day. There will be empty chairs. They don't put the money for the interest into the money supply, so there's no way to pay interest on any loan. So it's a scripted game of musical chairs. So that's important for people to realize that. I mean, and to really stand up for at least themselves first. At least yourself. Do you not care about yourself, your children, anyone? Just yourself. Do you accept you're going to get thrown out of your house, that they're going to take your car, that you have to wake up and go to work today? Are you going to accept that as, you know, that's what God says is going to happen? It's like, or are you going to choose to be like, actually, I think God's more about truth, just simply, what's true, you know? I think that's really what's important. So, if you follow the road of truth, it always gets to God, but, you got to stop by all the liars on the way, on the path, and the ones that hold the keys to the banks, they're the ones taking up all our time and energy so that we cannot get to God. That's, they want to hold us down here. You can't see them, I get it. Right, I get it. I get it. They're made of smokeless fire, the Quran said. They call them demons in the Bible, but they exist, and the other team exists because God needs them as a foil, to show God, because God is invisible. So he needs the other team, you know what I mean, to show, that there's God. Because once you really begin to see reality, we're in this very small physical space and there's nothing outside of it. That's set up for a reason. So, and what's the setup? Like, you have to figure it out, and the first thing you need to figure out is what's really going on around you. And the most important thing is, why is every adult's life scripted? From, and then when you go look at every adult's life is scripted, why is every child's life scripted? Go to school so you can work and really know nothing, except for that you can get your work done and, be controlled by these bankers all your time and everything. So you're doing all this work and they're doing whatever they want, They're doing whatever they want every day. And they're doing it with whomever they want. And when you get that level of power and you can do anything that you want, your appetite it can get very large. So so it's up to us to curb their appetite. It's not respectful that, this one limited area where we live, there are very few people, eating out of the whole thing as a trough like pigs, and the rest of us get almost nothing. So, we need truth to intervene in the situation, and, this is an inexpensive method for bringing truth into the situation of debt. And it's really, there's nothing that is in this debt removal package, as you've seen, as I've shown, that really gives a blowback on you. It's just their claims. That's all you want them to prove, their claims. And when they can't, you enforce, the removal of that debt. So that's what happens. So that's what we're working on here. And then it's, this one important piece then leads to, okay, if this is what's going on, what's the alternative? So the upcoming packages, I've talked about a trust and how to operate in that. That's going to be, what I'm going to focus on next. I know that people need that. But anyway, I'm ending my silence. I think there are so many people that need my help now. If you could please donate an hour, I know it's a lot of money, but nobody, it's not really a lot of money for my level of work and what I can give you in an hour. I've never gotten off the phone with someone that got an hour of time of mine, no matter how much money they had. I wasn't very, appreciative afterwards, like I'm specific to that individual or that individual within a group situation, and, give them, financial counseling, you know, as a Christian minister that few others can give, because they don't have the knowledge and they're not under the authority of God like I am, in trust. And I know a lot of people want to be. And so it's important that they are. So I'm going to put that out soon. So, Liberty Aid's back on. It's going to expand. And so please stay in touch. Let us know, what we could do that would be useful. Christian Ministries Trust is going to have a few things up on its website as well. More focused on a spiritual nature. There's spiritual paperwork out there that very few people are aware of. And I'll be putting up some packages there on how you can access the information. How you get it. And this is spiritual information that's specific to you and only you. So that's upcoming on Christian Ministries Trust. And so please stay tuned for that and some other things. So yeah, there's a solution to this Toyota Tundra thing. And I've incorporated it into the new package. It's not exactly what you've seen on videos. It's shorter and more to the point and less confusion. So, very powerful. So thank you all for staying with me on this journey and give me some time to have some silence, so that I can really get under the authority of Meher Baba even better. So I'm here in service. Please think about getting an hour of my time for counseling, and please not so much on Facebook, help me with this, help me that. What about this? What about that? I'm doing a lot still out in front, proving everything that I haven't coming up, and organizing that and putting into packages and getting a lot of feedback from people and improving. So I need to focus on that. I can't be there for free for everyone all the time. So please consider, that donation. Speak with me on the phone. We'll get specific to the solutions with, the counseling that's right for your spiritual situation. Okay. Thank you, Meher Baba, for putting me under your authority. All right, Jai Baba. Go check it out on Liberty Aid. All right, we're here to serve you.